Hello and welcome to today's video. This time we'll be having a look through some more vintage Pan paperbacks, the T series and the start of my Pan Pipers, giving them a really good clean, tidy brush and polish, making them look as good as possible. So without further ado, sit back, relax and let's get to it. Okay then, so I filmed this on a very warm day and you may hear the odd person having the audacity to actually mow their lawn in the background, but don't let that put you off. I'm sure it's off in the distance. We'll start off with this one, which is we're going to be looking at all my T series books. T meaning the books were at 6 shillings a piece when they were published. And this one's actually in a bit of a rough old state. Oh, blimey, look at that. I'll be able to get the pencil off without any trouble. But the writing on the inside cover is not going to be great. It's ironic, I did actually see a copy of this one fairly recently. Like, I think it was this week. I'm sure it was this particular book. And I didn't pick it up because when I looked it up, in my collection, it said I already had a copy. And little did I know, I mean, that should polish up okay, but little did I know that it had all that writing inside, which is not great. So unfortunately, I will put that on the upgrade list as a possible improver. BRM, that's, is it British Racing? Yeah, British Racing Motor Cars, I think is what that stands for. Illustrated. Yeah, that one's not too bad. That's all right. The Big Fisherman. Of course, these tea books, a lot of them are massive in size. They're real big, chunky tomes. It has an R in for, well, we don't know what it stands for. Yeah, it's not sure what it means, but we'll take it. Now, on the Angelique books, these were like women's slushy romance. But they ran for a long time, Angelique. They really did. I mean, like years and years and years. And they were very popular in their day. There's a whole series of them. They definitely have their fans. In fact, I think there may actually even be, believe it or not, an Angelique website. More perhaps devoted to the author rather than the series of books, but I'm sure I remember reading that. Look at this, now I remember. An illustrated a holiday history of Britain. This is one of those ones which is almost like Pan attempting to do a Pelican book like Penguin would do. Now we have got my Pan Pipers to do today, and Pan Pipers really are basically they're like Pelicans, but Pan's equivalent. God, this is quite stubborn. I was pretty sure that was pencil, but evidently it's pen. It is coming off, but it's very, very stubborn. Well, we faded it, but I don't think that's actually going to come off any better than that. Apart from that, he's all right. Lloyd Douglas, forgive us our trespasses. This one's also a little bit the worse for wear. I was having quite a close look at my pans when I was pulling these out, and I think I've got 2 more videos to do, and we're done. That's all the pans done. And then what I'll do, I shall go back and every 4th week, or 4th or 5th week in the rotation, I shall be bagging 100 pans at a time and getting them filed away into comic boxes. So that's going to be the job, because I'm getting them packed up ready to move into the Dream Library. and they would have been all cleaned, and I filmed them all, so there's no point keeping them all out on the shelves. I actually need to start getting stuff fully archived into boxes ready for that time when I move. So the only time I get them out is if I get like a big collection and I do a bit of comparing. But this one's really nice. This is one of the bestsellers of literature, and it's signed by John Raines, who was the cover artist on a lot of these. A really nice chap he was too. When I saw him down in Falmouth. Doris Leslie, Paragon Street. Now this is really light. It's like printed on really light paper. Absolutely fine. No problem with that copy at all. Francis Chichester, the great sailor. Just see the remnants of a price there. Sounds like the gardener's done his job. Right, let's slide those over out the way. So we'll let him off. The Complete Patience book. I used to enjoy playing Patience as a kid. Loads of different variations of it, of course. Hence the complete moniker. J.B. Priestley, Bright Day. Yeah, that one's okay. That's a colourful cover, isn't it? The 13th Floor. And on the whole, I've tried to pick these tail end ones up in reasonable condition if I can. They're not all going to be, if they're really tatty, I've tried not to keep them. But, my standards are getting higher as the days go on, really, particularly since space is at a bit of a premium. But at the same time, if it's one I haven't got, I want to keep it even. I don't care what state it's in, really. I'd rather have a copy than not have one, unless it's an absolute dog. Green Globe. This is a nice one. I remember having this one for a long time. It was an early acquisition in my pan collecting days, and I did when I worked for a book chain in Plymouth. I actually did a signing with Colin Wilson, and that one's signed by him. This is first printed in '62. This is the second print from 1967. Very nice indeed, and a nice signed one, beautiful condition as well. I remember that signing really well. Colin Wilson himself was such a nice guy. He was just the bit. He really was. Now here's another one of those bestsellers of literature, and this has also been signed by John Raines. And for some reason, I've got that one, and I've got another one which is unsigned, which is also mint unread. So I've got a signed one and an unsigned one, and both of them in, to be honest, really excellent condition. In fact, this one is look how bright it is. That is absolute minters. That's pretty much how they would have been published, isn't it? Like that. So that's my T series books and a couple of W's. And now we'll go on to the Pan Pipers, this is my earliest one. Now the Pipers all had a different prefix, so they were all P something, so P with a number, but they had a different prefix. So this is MP number 3, and the M just referred to the price. So an M back then was 5 shillings. So Childbirth Without Fear. So I've never, not once, tried to collect the Pan Pipers. All the ones that I've got have come from my collection. They've just turned up in collections when I bought other books. I've never gone out of my way to actually buy any. I just can't get over this guy's name here. Look, Childbirth Without Fear by Grantley Dick Red. I'll leave it at that. XP5, the Pan Book of Wine. It's got a little 30p inside. Well, we shall address that forthwith. Basic Facts of Human Hereditary. Now, this has got a 60 on the front, which looks like, yeah, it looks like that's going to come off. I've never been a massive fan of the Pan Piper as a series. It's not exactly been my main thing by any means. But they are part of the Pan story, so I don't particularly want to not collect them. The Pan Book of Home Pets. Now, Pan had already done books on like fish and cats and dogs and things like that, so maybe this was just a little bit later. Unfortunately, that's on the inside cover, and that's pen. It's a little bit tanned, that one, but I'm not going to be a massive stickler condition-wise on these. As long as they're half reasonable, I'll be fine with that. If they're absolute fallen to bit dogs, then I will put them on my upgrade list. But to be honest, they got to be pretty bad for me to want to upgrade some of these. Now this actually does. It looks like it's been rippled somehow. So this, once again, is teetering, and it actually looks a little bit. It looks like it's been trimmed as well. So yeah, this is no good. XP15. You and your child. Yeah. Not only has it been like rippled along the side, like it's got wet, but it's actually trimmed. So if you compare it to that book, it's like the bottom's been cut off it. Very unusual. So I'll keep it for now, but that one is actually going to go onto the upgrade list because he's not quite good enough. Making a House a Home. This is absolutely fine by the look of it. Yeah, he's okay. And Leonard Cottrell, now he had loads published by Pan, and they're all sort of archaeological related titles. Bulls of Minos, I think, was his first one. Here's another. In fact, there it is, the Bulls of Minos. This must be a reissue because it came out in the main series to begin with. This must be an updated reissue. Let's have a look. Yeah, six printing, but as I said, I know for a fact that it came out in the main series. So, but I don't know which printing was the first to be a Pan Piper, but I don't mind as long as I've got one of it because the cover is different. The Great Invasion, another one by Leonard Cottrell. They must have re-released his entire output. This is a third printing from '63. Interestingly, it doesn't mention that they were previously published in Pan, even though we know that they were. Good English. See, these titles were all the sort of thing that Pan published in their main list before they became Pan Pipers, you know. Right, let's move them out the way. We've still got quite a big pile of these to get through. So the Pan Book of Sailing. Group Captain Searle. So it looked a little bit like it was coming away. Oh, it's okay. A little bit, just a tiny tad. Nothing to worry about. I've got all my repairing stuff on standby, my glue and stuff like that, should I need it. Yeah, that's okay. The Pan Book of Astronomy. Always an interesting subject. The Pan Book of Etiquette and Good Manners. Wow. Got one of those little marks on the cover. We've seen it before, haven't we? There we are, got it. Don't know what these things are, you know, they're little bits of dirt, or like feels almost like a stone, you know. This is a good one. Exploring the occult, always a popular subject, the occult, you know. If you ever see this one, always pick that one up. Mine's not in the greatest of shape, but it is a collectible subject. The occult, witchcraft, things like that. Pelican did a few books on them as well. Style for 99p. Cheap at half the price. Profiles of the Future. Oh, look who it is. Arthur C. Clarke. So the Clarke completists will be interested in this one. My copy is not great, sadly. It's typical, isn't it? I don't mind Arthur C. Clarke, but he is a little bit... I find the science fiction stuff now a little bit, well, basic. This has got a tear down the bottom of the spine, but it's nothing I can really do about it, so I'm going to have to let it go. Because it is a tear. If I put some glue in there, I don't think it's going to help. So I'm going to have to leave it. The Treasures of Time, Liu Jewell. Oh dear, look at that. Oh dear. Yes, I thought this was looking a bit on the rough side, and it very much is. So, MP60 as an upgrade. I'm going to keep this just until I get a better copy. But ripped like that, and just generally it's in quite poor shape, that one. So, yeah, that's not going to hurt to get a replacement. None of these are too expensive. As I said, the odd one or two possibly. In fact, Panpiper #1, I think, is The Outsider by Colin Wilson. So that is a collectible one. The Life Savers. But yeah, looking at the shelves, I think we've only got a couple more Pan books to do. Amazingly, I'm going to put the whole lot together once we've finished into a playlist. So if you want to go back and look over the entire collection in order being filmed, you can do such a thing. I wonder how many books were just in the Pan alone. I estimate about 1,500, but I may be wrong. May even be more than that. I don't know. I've not counted. There we are. Get the last stack now. Ooh. Before we start brushing. So another one by Leonard Cottrell, Enemy of Rome. Certainly seen a few by him, haven't we? The Pan Book of Insurance. Cool. Could it get much drier than that, eh? I don't think so. Not even if it tried. Rebirth of Britain. So when was this being reborn then? 1964. Okay. Pan Book of Chess. Gerald Abrahams is was a noted chess author. Don't mind chess. Don't mind it at all. The Pan Book of One-Act Plays, 10 short plays by modern authors. Yeah, Pan never had their own plays series, did they, like Penguin? Your Child at School. That said Pan First Ed, £1.50. Maybe that's what I paid for it. I don't remember. But condition-wise, it's pretty nice. So I may well have paid £1.50 for that. I remember getting this one, Gardening in the North by Kenneth Lemon. It's one of those time machine books. It's absolutely mint. And I suspect it's because of the paper that it was printed on. I've had that for years, and it's just like Minto. Very, very strange. Sell them a story. Practical information and instruction for the would-be author. That's what it says. Look at that. The would-be author. The Pan Book of Winemaking. Never fancied making my own wine. Always prefer just to drink it from the bottle. That someone else has made. Trachtenberg. Speed System of Basic Mathematics. Blimey, O'Reilly. A couple of turned over pages there, but we soon sorted that out. Flowers from Seed. Another one of those gardening ones on the better quality paper. And the last one is the Pan Book of Amateur Dramatics. There we are. Right, so that's all the books we got to look at today. Quite a pile, I think you'll agree. Let's give them a brush next. All right, get these brushed. Certainly a few are worse than others. That's cropline. That's for true. Actually, that's very dusty. Blimey. Always the worst part of the job is the brushing. Oh. Of course, because these books are so big, you only do a few at a time, really, you know. There we are, that's the second pile. Definitely the worst part of the job, isn't it? The brushing. God. Loads coming off that one. So something else that happened this week was that this channel, hit 2,000 subscribers, which is very nice. I never expected it to get great numbers, but at the same time, it's quite nice to see 2,000 people have subscribed to it, which is amazing, really. So thank you if you are one of those 2,000 people. And if not, please join me and help me get to 3,000. But it's certainly been an interesting journey, hasn't it? And as I said, we're not there yet. Certain series have come to an end, but there is more work to be done in the cleaning department. And of course, I've got a couple of collections that may be coming my way, which will all need cleaning before I get rid of any doubles and stuff. So if that happens, all of that cleaning will be done on this channel. So yeah, watch this space, because there may be a couple of big collections heading my way with a bit of luck. Anyway, that's all the books brushed. The last stage, of course, is the polishing. Right, here we go. So I've got the very end of the Mr. Sheen, but I have got another bottle on standby. But I think we've got a few squirts left in this one at the moment. So we'll use it up first so we don't waste any. Now this one was particularly bad, wasn't it? It was like it had somehow had like a mottling on it, which is a little bit weird, but I found in some cases of this that even when we clean it off, which you can see it's definitely coming off, you leave it a bit of time, then it comes back again, which is really really annoying. And I don't know why. So I was explaining earlier on that because we've only got 2 more videos of pan left, we've got the rest of my collection of pan pipers, and then we've got the books which aren't part of any, they're ISBN. They're basically pan after they stopped doing their own numbering system. So there's lots of science fiction and crime and things like that, which were published just after 1969, 1970, as ISBNs were coming in. So we've got 2 more. We'll see the start of those ones next week, or next time we do pan, rather. Not next week, but next time we do pan. And then the very tail end of it will be the last of those. Plus, I'm going to pull out a couple of bits of pan point of sale, which might benefit from a bit of a clean as well. Some show cards and things like that, which have never really been cleaned. So that is the last couple of pans. And then it won't be the end, because what we'll do, once all the pans have been cleaned, I'm then going to systematically go through and start boxing them up. So the process will be, we shall go through 100 at a time, there or thereabouts. So try and bag 100 books at a time. And, or basically not 100 books, but 1 box full of books at a time. Because it's going to be done by box load. And what I intend to do, because all the books, because we'll be going back to the start, all the books should be absolutely fine. Clean wise, we would have been through them all, as it were, and given them the treatment. But they might need just a cursory brush off the top, just for where they may have picked up a bit of dust over the last couple of years since we started doing this. So I'm going to do that first of all. So give them a bit of a brush, and then I'm going to bag them up into brand new paperback bags. And now you may have seen me bag some stuff recently on the channel. I don't want to wipe off his signature there. And I've been really, really pleased with how the stuff that I've been bagging up is looking. I mean, it really is great. And I think it's looking, well, terrific, really. But once it's been bagged up, that's pretty much its, for now, its final resting place, as it were, until I move house and get my library built up, which is a couple of years away yet. So, unfortunately, just due to circumstance more than anything. But with a collection like my patterns, for example, I'll still have access to them. They'll still be in the house, but they're just not going to be on shelves. And what that's going to mean is it's going to give me a lot more room to spread out some of my other collections, where, unlike Pan, where I'm adding to it bit by bit, or Penguin, for example, which is going to be treated exactly the same, where I've got big runs of it, like I've got the first 1,000 Penguins bar one book. I can afford to bag those and put them away into long-term storage. So yes, I can't look at them, but at the same time, it's going to free up space so that I can sort of process other books in my collection, if that makes sense. So when I come to the studio here and I film a box of books, that's obviously stage one. And then when they've all been cleaned and brushed, they'll be bagged, and that'll be stage two. Then the final stage is I'm going to get brand new comic boxes. Now, I use what you see here fitted in one comic box. So if you can imagine these all bagged up, for starters, but we go back to the very earliest pans. I'm then going to, in the comic box, it's going to be a brand new one, which I'm going to you like assemble them yourself. They're sort of origami style, and they're not that expensive. They're about 5 boxes for £20. So I know in effect it's only like cardboard, but that includes the postage, and that's actually not a bad price in my opinion for brand new, really, really practical comic boxes. And I shall mark them like pan 1, pan 2, pan 3 as we go along, and I'm going to line each box just for that extra level of protection before I put the bags in. So ordinarily, the books in. So ordinarily, I just stick them in spine on, 2 rows. But there is room to have a layer of paper inside the box, and that's what I intend to do. So sometimes if you were to get a delivery from Amazon and it comes with that like recycled brown paper to sort of stop something moving around inside a parcel, I'm going to save some of that. In fact, I've got some saved already. And each box that I do, I'm going to just do one straightforward line and then put the books in. So they've got that extra level of protection in, and then all bagged up as well. So there really is going to be, it would be a very hard task for any harm to come to them, even if they were in there long term, which hopefully they're not going to be much longer than 2 to 3 years. And as I said, I will have access to them. I'll know exactly what's in there. The other thing I'm going to do is quickly, so that process of the bagging and the boxing and that, I will film as part of these videos where I put the collection into like permanent archive. The first part of that is going to be quite soon because I'm going to be doing it with my Star Trek book collection. Now, I haven't had the Trek books out for a while, so I'm going to film one last video. I'm pretty sure they don't need cleaning. I'm sure we've already done that, but I will double check. So I'm going to basically get the Star Trek books that are in my collection all together. I'm going to start with classic Star Trek, then I'm going to do Next Generation, and then I'll do Voyager and DS9 and Enterprise in one video. So about probably 3 parts. And the videos will be quite long, but I will show my entire original Star Trek collection, and I'll do the same with them. Now they are just classic Trek alone is going to be like 3 boxes, I think, but they are sort of in the way at the moment in the office, and I do want to get those tucked away. And I have historically on the channel done them, cover them in quite some depth, so I do want to get those packed away, as it were. Here we are. So that's that run done as well. So it may seem, in a way, almost like overkill. I'm really, really giving these books the absolute utmost protection, but there was talk that I might have to potentially put some books into like a storage container, and I'm very much against that. I'm going to, because my son is off to uni, there's a nice area of his bedroom that I can take over. Haha. And I'm going to put 3 rows of books one way, 3 up, 3, so like that. And I'll be able to get at least 18 to 20 boxes just in one stack in his room. And I've got a similar stack which I'm going to be pulling together in the office. I've got some in there already, but I'm just going to sort of rejig it. But the main thing is it will create lots and lots of room, which will be very, very beneficial as I clear out some of my other collections which I'm not keeping anymore. So I've still got lots of Star Wars to sell, and I've got loads and loads of old Simpsons toys, and all of that needs to go. So that is the priority, really. So as I'm doing it, that's basically the plan. So once I've actually cleaned all my books, which is still quite a way off, I can assure you of that, but once I have done them all, every week it will be more archiving as we go along. But that's definitely not a bad thing, in my opinion. So I would entertain any thoughts and comments on that plan. Do you have to keep any of your books in storage, or have you got bookcases that fit everything? I mean, I've got plenty of bookcases, but not enough to fit the entire collection. So, and as it is, most of my paperback collections are doubled up, so they're not all out on display by any means. That does seem to be the way with a lot of collectors I know. They just don't have enough room. But that is the collector's curse, so it's nothing to worry about. It's just how it goes. But it's true. Even if even in my dedicated library, I'm going to have to, and I've been giving this some thought. I am going to have to box clever and have the shelves double depth so that I can put, if I want to, 2 rows, like a row in front of a row. And I think for some titles, or over time, as the collection grows, I probably will have to do exactly that. It'll be double rowed going forward. And some things I'm not going to worry about it, like, I don't know, the Pelican collection. If they're double stacked, it's not going to hurt. Whereas for some of my other series, the penguins and that, I'd definitely like to get them all out on display, all numerical and looking lovely. I think that'd be fantastic, absolutely fantastic. Particularly since I'm going to actively try and fill in the gaps between 1,000 and 3,000. I reckon I've got half of them anyway. In which case, there's an awful lot still to fill in, which is another reason why I need to get at least the first 1,000 penguins that I've got all tucked away and filed in boxes, a bit like what I just described with the pans, because I don't need to keep accessing them. I know exactly what I've got in there. It's all been well recorded and documented. And by freeing up the first 1,000 off the shelves, it's going to make an awful lot of room to spread the rest of it out, and the stuff that I'm sort of working on over the next couple of years. So that's sort of one of the reasons, another one of the reasons why I'm actually doing this, you know. But I never thought, I mean, the good thing is by having this channel, it's meant that religiously, without fail, I've had to do a cleaning video every single week, at least one a week, for the best part of 2 years now, which is brilliant. And, you know, this is something that I would have done, but at the same time, you know, it would have been quite easy to put it off, if you know what I mean. And some weeks I have, in effect, I do have a bit of a holiday because I re-release a video which was on my main channel where I've taken some of the bits out, I re-edit it, and that happened just last week. So my monthly pickup videos, for example, I will, and I do one of those a month, I will repurpose those, take out the stuff that is brand new that I bought or stuff that I'm reading, and just include the book cleaning action. So someone left a comment, I think she was called Diane, saying, "Oh, wasn't this already been used?" And you're right, it was, but it was on purpose, and it was sort of the dedicated cleaning part of a recent pickups video. All right, good stuff. Okay, last couple of little stacks here now, and then we'll be done for this week. Now, once again, I haven't had a look ahead to see what's due. So last week it was, oh no, we've got a bagging video this week, haven't we? I believe. Oh, I can't remember. We got pelicans, we got pan, we got penguin, we got bagging videos, and we've got best ofs, little compilations. And soon we'll be having boxing videos, which is going to be something completely different. But you know, boxing, bagging and boxing, I should say. It's not just going to be boxing. But I believe we're going to need to give the Star Trek books a little once over. I suspect I haven't actually cleaned them because, believe it or not, the very first video on my main channel where I started showing my book collection was actually Star Trek paperbacks. And I look back on it now, and I had no microphone, I had no lighting. I was just sort of doing it in the dining room. Didn't really have much of a collection, to be honest, but the videos seemed to go down really well. I was really surprised by it. In fact, if you are interested in sort of in my origin, over on my main channel, I have just this week uploaded a video about how I got into my sort of my history of being a book collector, really, how I got into it, starting as a young kid, and what my parents gave me, and what, you know, the books they sort of exposed me to when I was a kid. People like Agatha Christie, which I love still, and the Ian Fleming books that my dad had, which I really enjoyed collecting. To this day, I still really, really love both of those, and little things like that. And you know, my story about starting my Instagram page, the Penguin Book a Day one, and how eventually that led to me doing this. Doing this one. Look at that! I completely missed that Oxfam sticker on the back. Quality control again, you see. They've taken off the pan sticker that would have been on there originally. That's actually a bit of a mess. Let's get this bit off. That's going to take a bit of polish directly onto the book, and then we'll come back to that because that's a real dog, that one. In fact, I'm going to get the, you see all the glue there, the glue. So we're going to let that sit just for a minute and get back to it with this little pile. Just get the very last. Just when I think this Mr. Sheen has finally given up the ghost, it keeps coming back for more. So this is the Arthur C. Clarke, wasn't it? Which wasn't a particularly great one. One thing I have been able to do recently, I sent off my list to Drew, the Penguin chap, and I said, look, these are all books that I've got, but I got up to a point on the Penguin ones where we're up to about number 15, 1600. And I sent him my list of all the books that I needed upgrades for. And he came back and he found about 26 books that I had on my upgrade list, which is brilliant. So I was very, very pleased to get those. So they'll be in my next monthly pickups video. I've only been to one bookshop, and that was also this week, and I picked up quite a little haul. It's my local second-hand bookshop, and he's 3 for £5 on paperbacks. And I might have even found more, but I sort of ran out of time. But I got some lovely Virago Modern Classics, which is an imprint I really do like. And they got some great books, and they're all first editions, really early ones from the early 80s. One even from the 70s, and it's a bit like Picador. You don't really see them very often, particularly in nice condition. And he had a whole run of them, so I was particularly picky about the conditions of the ones that I picked up, because he had so many in there. And I said 3 for £5. You can't really go wrong at that price, can you? And he had a few of my favourite female authors, people like Elizabeth Taylor, not the actress, but Elizabeth Taylor, the author, who I think is excellent. So that was quite a nice hit. I picked up a couple of Penguins I didn't have, later ones. As I said, I've started to look at the stuff post 1000 in a little bit more detail, but there is a chance that I might be able to pick up a sizable Penguin collection in the next few months. And if that happens, I shall have quite a lot of books to clean in a reasonably short period of time, because I won't really have masses of room to store them. So I'm going to want to get them cleaned and out the door. So if that happens, then all bets are off on this channel, and we're going to have to all my cleaning video time will be done cleaning that collection, because I'll need to get it turned around and processed. So that is my thinking on that. So don't panic if that happens. It'll just be temporary while, because big collections, for me, I haven't had a really, really, really massive collection come my way for about 3 years, and that was a pan collection, and it was a carload, and it was fantastic. But at the same time, it took an awful lot of time to get it processed and sorted. But processed and sorted we did, and looked really, really good once it was all done. Right, last stack for this week at least. Leonard Cottrell ones. With regards to the bagging of the books, in my bagging videos, I do always link to Amazon, but Amazon have been out of them for quite a while now. So my friend Dorset Bob, the dealer, who you can contact under the email mrbook451@outlook.com, he is importing them himself and selling them cheaper than Amazon, $9.95 per 100, and you can have postage as just £2, and you can get 200 for £2, which is pretty good. So, and cheaper than Amazon. So if you fancy getting just drop Bob a note. He's bringing them over, thousands and thousands of bags at a time now. So if you need me, that's the place to go. Certainly I've been buying them off Bob in 500 at a pop at the moment, and just because it doesn't hurt to stockpile them a little bit, because they do tend to come in and out of supply, particularly in the UK, although you can get them in the States without too much trouble. So they do come in and out of availability, and I don't want to be in a position where I'm all set to do some bagging and I've got the time to do it. Bagging and potentially boxing, don't forget now. And I haven't got any bags to do it, and I can't get any anywhere. I don't want that to happen, so I'd rather have really good stocks of all the bags to hand, and then I can just strike while the iron is hot, as it were, and do the bagging and boxing videos as and when required. I've got to admit, I'm really looking forward to bagging up the early Pan books, and that. They're going to really benefit from it for starters. Bearing in mind, a lot of them now are 70, getting on 80 years old, and that's incredible when you think about it. So because of that, the pages and that are not, some of them at least, are not in the greatest of shape. They're not all bad by any means, but some of them are a little bit the worse for wear. So because of that, I do want to get the books bagged up so that they're as protected as they possibly can be. And not just that, they look absolutely fantastic when you put an old paperback, particularly one in good condition, into a brand new paperback bag. They just gleam, they look so nice. It's been a long time coming, really, for decent paperback bags, and I'm now so pleased that we're at a stage where they're readily available. The only ones which are a bit trickier to get seemingly seem to be the digest size bags, which are the much bigger ones, but they are out there. But I haven't quite got as many of those as I perhaps would like in reserve, because particularly my earlier books, the ones from these are fine. These would be all like normal paperback bags, but the ones from the 30s and 40s and big thick books from the modern era, they're too big to go into regular paperback bags, and you have to have digest bags. They're the only ones that would actually do the job. This was a little bit the worse for wear, but I'm much more of a drinker than a maker of wine and beers and what have you. I enjoy it, but I don't think I'd enjoy the process of making it myself. Although I'm sure it's very satisfying if you can produce something that's palatable. There's another mark on the front that I didn't see the first time round, but it's coming off all right. So once again, thanks for helping the channel hit 2,000 subscribers. If you're not already subscribed, do please hit that button now. Let's get us on our way to the next little milestone. If you've enjoyed the video, do please leave a comment to let YouTube know you've enjoyed this particular one today. If you've watched it to the end, well done. Thank you very much. I've no special prize to give you, but accept my thanks. And I shall be back in another week with another box of books to do, which we shall get into another video. There we go. Bye.